The brittle pages of a forgotten journal crackled under Rosie's fingers as she unearthed it from the depths of her grandmother's attic. The musty scent filled the air, mingling with the faint aroma of aged wood and memories long left behind. Each page was a treasure trove of spidery handwriting, recounting the elusive tale of a presence affectionately dubbed the Visitor. As she read late into the night, the words began to blur and twist in the dim light of her lamp, reflecting shadows that danced along the attic walls. A chill crept through the air, wrapping around her like a threadbare blanket, despite the summer night's warmth. The old house creaked, the sound reverberating through the wooden beams, each groan seeming to echo the writer's mounting unease. The journal described the Visitor as both a seeker and a thief. It would draw near when a person felt the most alone. Rosie paused, an unsettling sensation fluttering within her chest. She recalled the odd, lingering silence that blanketed her home, as if the world outside had muffled itself, holding its breath. Rosie brushed her fingers over a particularly haunting entry, detailing an event that mirrored her own experiences. As she pored over the faded ink, the overhead lamps flickered, casting long shadows that stretched and contracted, almost sentient in their movements. The temperature in the room plummeted, making her breath visible in the haze of their shared space. The next entry hinted at a ritual that could placate the Visitor. Caution surged within her, yet curiosity pulled her deeper into the intricate details about offerings and whispered invocations. In her ignorance, she dismissed the archivist's warnings, convinced she could control the whispers through a mere charm. That night, Rosie set up the offering, a simple trinket, her grandmother's delicate jewelry box, adorned with intricate carvings. She placed it beneath an attic window where the moonlight flooded through, an elegant halo landing directly atop the box, like a sacramental offering. Her heart raced, each second stretched taut with anticipation. Then she heard it, a soft scraping sound, barely perceptible, yet disturbingly close. The hairs on her arms stood at attention as the attic grew heavier with something unspoken. Shadows warped around her, twisting further under the door as she hesitated, heart hammering, battling the impulse to flee. And then it happened. Just as she turned to leave, the door rattled, a heavy force pressing against it from the other side. All at once the guard she'd erected shattered, a shiver raced down her spine. She turned back in horror as the moon cast an eerie glow, revealing handprints pressed against a dust-covered window, stark against the gloom. The Visitor had manifested. With trembling hands, she fought the urge to flee or scream, her eyes transfixed on the opaque glass. Patterns formed in the chaos, a shape, a visage attempting to break free. Rosie's heartbeat pounded in her ears, reverberating like a hammer strike, each thud an echo of desperation. And then she understood. The Visitor was a gatekeeper of sorts, an entity stitched into her family's history, feeding off solitude and despair. It thrived on secrets whispered only to the dark. To reject it, she had to confront the fears that had grown inside her since childhood, fears that were cloaked in simple tales spun by her grandmother. The box, she realized, was never meant to be an offering, but a connection to her family's legacy. With renewed determination, Rosie took the journal and the jewelry box, clutching them tightly. She turned and pressed her palm against the window, responding to the spectral marks. "You don't have dominion here, not anymore." The air surged back to life, warm as if a spring breeze had entered, sweeping the attic free of shadows. Suddenly, the door fell silent, the weight lifting as Rosie took a deep breath, her chest swelling as life returned. As dawn broke, flooding the room with golden light, the journal quietly settled into her lap, the handprints on the window fading away, leaving only the ghost of understanding. Rosie knew now that facing the Visitor didn't cast it out, but instead welcomed a part of her buried past, and from that day onward, she never felt alone again, not in the light nor the dark.